Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, and your Sunday series, here for your Sunday. Today it's going to be a series of games featuring Scarlett versus Petit Drogo and versus Uthermal from the group stages of WCS Valencia. Figured we see how Scarlett is doing these days in these professional environments where there's a lot of stress. See if she is good enough to take down Petit Drogo, see if she's good enough to take down Uthermal, and advance to the round of 16. She doesn't have to win all of these, just most of them. So we'll see. And we're going to keep score up here. Scarlett versus her opponent. Alright, so thank you for joining me on this Sunday. Hope you enjoyed my Twitch stream from earlier. I Twitch stream StarCraft stuff on Saturdays and Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're interested in seeing Falcon Paladin play StarCraft live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin, very easy to find. Come say hi. Come throw like 2 bits at me. It's a couple pennies, right? That's how that works. That's what the bits are all about. Anyway, it is a 1 Gatoroonie expand here out of Petit Drogo. Scarlett going for the hatch first, so nothing crazy from her either. I thought that was 2 gas for a second, but no, just an extractor into a hatchery. Here comes the probe for the scout. Again, Protoss need to scout because they can die to all-ins a little bit easier than the other 2 races these days. A little teeny tiny bit easier on that front. And here is our extractor fully sucking that gas out of the geyser. Same thing with the assimilator. It seems a little bit more pristine, a little less droll when the Protoss do it. They seem a little bit higher class than the Zerg. Walling off here with the cybernetics core. All right. Here's the thing. I used to think walling off with the Cyber Core was bad because it meant early aggression could take down your Cyber Core and limit your tech path. But then, basically, when the Mothership Core went away, bailing busts became a lot more of a problem for Protoss, and throwing up a high HP building in the front instead of a pylon or a cannon became much, much more desirable. So, Petit Drogo, it says, alright, I understand the risk of putting a Cybernetics Core here, but at the same time, if I get bailing busted, I need to be able to defend that. And by golly, he is. Meanwhile, Scarlett should go for a 3rd base here. Yeah, the Lings are coming out first. The Lings are going to chase that probe away. The probe would try to block the 3rd normally. And actually, you know what? The probe's doing a good job staying around, saying, where's that 3rd? You going to take a 3rd, Scarlett? Are you late on it? It's 2.5 minutes. Okay, it's 2.5 minutes, and the drone is coming in just enough to make Petit Drogo wonder if a 3rd's on the way at all. However, there's a scouting adept that will confirm there's a 3rd base coming up just now from Scarlett, but for now, in the dark, and a 2-basing Zerg, it's much, much different. From a 3-basing Zerg, 2-base Zerg means a lot of aggression, very fast, and very scary. Whereas a 3rd hatchery, which just got confirmed by the Adept, is a lot less scary. You don't have to worry about as much aggression here at all. Stargate about to come up at home. The Adept might actually get a drone kill. Nope, Psionic transferred out of there. Took a lot of damage, killed absolutely nothing, and it is Phoenix play. Out of Petit Drogo, I do like the Phoenix play. They can really take map control in the early game. They can kill overlords that are scouting. They can go do some harassment on drones, assuming there aren't enough queens or spore crawlers happening at this stage of the game. Did you? Oh, it was scouted. Absolutely scouted here. And an Oracle on the way, too. So the Oracle's name is going to be Enigmatus, possessed of a fondness for the color green, as well as a superiority complex rarely seen in a Protoss. This former Judicator survived the fall of Ire and enlisted as an Oracle pilot. He is given to challenging enemy workers with extremely difficult mental puzzles before killing them when they inevitably get it wrong, since drones and probes can't talk, and SCV pilots usually aren't smart enough. Wow, shade thrown at SCV pilots, man. I mean, I guess the Dominion and other Terran leaders don't throw their smartest people into SCV suits, but still, they couldn't solve difficult mental puzzles, you don't think? You don't think they have a lot of time to think about things and increase their brain capacity while they're just going back and forth from a mineral patch to another mineral patch? Either way, I love this opening. Saw it first from Showtime. You bring in the Phoenix, you bring in the Oracle, you lift any queens that are present. The 3rd base is not saturated at all, though, which means the Oracle needs to go somewhere else for her prey. Yeek! Enigmatus getting stabbed at by queens. Overlord might get saved by these same queens. Oh, but no, actually, no, the queens prioritizing here to get the Oracle, and they're going to let the Overlord die and let the Phoenix get out. Well played indeed here. Did you kill anything, Enigmatus? You did. You killed a single drone. Good job, Enigmatus. I remember the days that Oracles used to get 5 or 6 kills, and anything less than that was considered a disappointment, but boy, how players have figured out how to do this. How to just have Queens out, Spore Crawlers out, Missile Turrets, Marines ready to go. Oracles in all matchups are just not as good as they used to be. Not that they've been changed at all. It's just that players know what to do against them a little bit better. A little bit better every day. Templar Archives coming in for Petit Drogo. If he gets that storm started early, it will be problematic indeed for Scarlett. 4 High Templar in production. This could just be drop play, though. Do we have a Warp Prism? No, that is an Observer, and it is a Warp Prism. So yes, it's going to be Archons. Immediate merging of the Archons, and then Warp Prism Harassment. Oh, he warped him in on the Warp Prism, and then he's going to do this thing. So Queens are here. Spore Crawler is here. Spore Crawler is going to burrow on the edge. Queen's fighting. Queen's pretty good in this situation just because they're ranged, and they do have a further range of 5 compared to the Archons with the range of 3, so they can kite a little bit here and just hold it off. The goal here is not to kill the Archons. It's not necessarily to kill their Warp Prism, but just keep the Archons from doing any damage to the drone count. If you can do that, you're going to be in a pretty good situation indeed. Yeah, sitting at 67 Harvesters at 5.5 minutes. Scarlett, you are good. You are good at the macro. You're not missing many injects. Sure, you had to bring some Queens over to defend, and that meant you did miss a couple injects here. Third base really should be injected, if we're being honest with ourselves. Come on, Scarlett. You can do it. The Queen wants to. The Queen's like leaning over the hatchery saying, please. Please let me do this. Roach is in production here. Phoenix flying on by. Does see a Hydralisk den in production. Says, Hydras. Boy, I hate those. Charge on the way. Charge lot, a pretty good answer to Hydralisk. Guess what's also good? A Storm. Petit Drogo is going for that Storm. And the Archons are coming back in. Have you still not injected? Scarlett. There we go. Just waiting. Just waiting for me to get really upset. Drop Lord's coming in. Okay, so Scarlett's going to Drop Lord Hydras, which is pretty scary, actually. As an Overlord gets picked off by these Archons, Spore Crawler positioning here is really important versus this Warp Prism. Roaches coming in, that's probably an overcommitment on Roaches. Don't need that many to shut down whatever the Archons are trying to do. And Creep Spread. Okay, Zergs, if you're not at 71 Harvesters and this level of Creep Spread and 4 bases at 7 minutes, you have some work to do. Meanwhile, Petit Drogo hasn't really been harassed all that much, but still, 3 bases, 68 workers himself at 7 minutes. There are some things to aspire to, fellow players of StarCraft. Absolutely some things we can work on aspiring to. Alright, Creep Spread continuing to push on all fronts here from Scarlett. The Drop Lords are on the way, though. Oh boy, how do we deal with Drop Lord action? You can defend the front pretty well. There's a nice wall there. Third base has shield batteries and static defense. But this is all juicy and open. He dropped some Hydras here. Kill these pylons. Kill this pylon. Oh, he saw this. Did he see this? Yes, his observer saw the Drop Lords. This is really, really good for Petit Drogo. He's making immortals. He's working on +2 attack. Aspire's on the way from Scarlet. The Phoenix is going to try to kill all of these Overlords by itself. Rah! Kill the drops. Make it happen. The whole army is waiting for this. Stalkers. 1 Overlord dies. Pretty much full there, and that's that. Man, scouting is so important. Contaminate used on the robotics facility. Was it making anything? I don't think it was. But still, he can't do anything with it either at the time. So that drop got absolutely shut down. 100 billion%. Trying to get a Zealot drop. But Queens and Spores are on this side of the base, and there's nowhere to go. The Warp Prism can't get in there. This is exceptionally well defended. Nobody's getting dropped. Nobody's getting kill dropped, at least. Petit Drogo has managed to get units on the ground, which is really, really good. But otherwise, you really actually want to kill drones. And so far, 0 probes have gone down. 2 drones have died. Where did the second drone die? Oracle got 1. Roach Hydra trying to get out of here. That is a very scary Protoss army. Get out. Muta's in production. I'm not sure about Mutas when there's Archons and Storm here. What are you doing, Scarlett? Do you have a specific task? Oh, it's a distraction because there's a huge attack coming at the front with Roaches with +1 missile attack. The robotic facility goes down. The cybernetics core is going to die here too. Getting focused, in fact, and there's the recall, which just means this 4th base is extremely vulnerable too. Drops still trying to do stuff, getting some Zealots into the 4th base. Okay, some drones are going to go down here, but also Petit Drogo might just straight up lose his 4th base entirely with the focus fire on the Roaches and the Hydras, and by golly, it does go down. So Muta's finishing off the Zealots after they kill 13 drones, but a whole base is taken out by Scarlett. Cybernetics core dies too. Petit Drogo has to replace that if he wants to tech switch out into anything else at this stage of the game. And additional Archons in production. Petit Drogo coming with Zealots. +2 attack on these guys. We got Archons with +2 attack too because they share the same upgrades. The Muta's picking off a Templar. Ugh, getting stormed a little bit too though. You guys are not looking too healthy, are ya? Definitely not. Immortal taking some shots, activating its barrier ability. And the Mutas say, we can actually base trade if you like us to. Archons at home, some probes transferring and getting massacred there too. This army fairly scary for the Protoss army. Corrosive Vials, don't land those. Oh! Picks off the High Templar! What? That can't happen! That cannot happen for Petit Drogo. Alright, Mutas doing stuff. 7 probes go down, but still, nothing, not really game ending there by any stretch. 4th base is warping in. Chasing this army away is Scarlett, though. That's bad. Once those High Templar died, I think that was it. Are you going for it? No, I was going to say the Mutas are engaging right on top of the Archons, but they're going to die. Waiting until the Archons are dead and then moving into the Mutas is not a bad idea, but additional Archons do join the party here. Rosabile's trying to land. Archons stabbing away. Mutas, once again, don't want to fully engage. Roaches and Hydras at this point don't either. There's a lot of Zealots. Pretty good against these Hydras, and the Roaches, too, in an open field situation. In an open field, Ned. Man. The memes, the internet memes, they come out at the weirdest times. 15 Roaches in production, 1 behind Dark Shrine, says Petit Drogo. He is behind. It's 193 to 118 supply. A 5th base is happily running for Scarlett here at the 11-minute mark. Got Mutas flying around. 3 cannons, though, with shield battery? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, just maybe a quick stop by. Quick stop by, kill a couple probes. Phoenix here wants to kill all of these Mutas by himself, and he can do it with good control, which Petit Drogo is going to have. APM for these players, 356 for Scarlett, 295 for Petit Drogo on average here, and baits him into the cannons. I mean, this is not the main event right now. The main event is this. It's coming up this way, Roach Hydra. Big old maxed out army. Good storms, though. If there's anything that can overcome the problem of dealing with a maxed out Zerg army, it's going to be storm. Some lurkers at the front here, too. Good storm on the bottom side. The question is, how many storms do you have? Corrosive Bile actually hitting a Zealot there. I haven't seen Corrosive Bile do this much damage in a game in a long time. It's usually pretty easily dodged, and Protoss especially can deal with it, but not today. Not today from the Petit Drogo. Additional lurkers coming on in. This is a pretty injured army. Splitting off a small group of it is Scarlett heading up to the front door of the natural. It might actually... Oh, 1 Immortal down. Yeah, and 2 Immortals down. Lurker stabbing, and DT comes in. Nope, there's detection. Thank you very much. Overseer picked off, though, after the DT is killed. Oh, what's the Immortal count? It's only 0. It's only 0! Oh, that's not good. You can't deal with lurkers if you don't have Immortals. Yeah, here comes the burrow in. Detection's gone. Dark Templar is trying to... 2 Dark Templar are trying to win this whole stupid thing by themselves. But as good as they are, no. GG from Petit Drogo. He realized he lost his 4th base. Scarlett was expanding again. He was down 197 and 184 supply. And sure, there was no detection at the front here. But there were some Overseers on the way. So eventually these DTs would be cleaned out. But in the meantime, everything else would die is the problem here. So great job. Great job by Scarlett, winning game 1 of her Sunday Series compilation. And let's see how she does in game number 2 here. We'll be right back. Game 2 of our Scarlett compilation will be held on Catalyst. We'll be against Uthermal. And top left, we have Scarlett. Bottom right, we have Uthermal. Hey, you ever wanted to hang out with fellow Falcon Paladin fans on the internet? Download the Discord app. Go to the Discord website. Or download the Discord program in Windows. And click on the invite in the description. We have 300 members. Lots of stuff going on. We have a hobby room for people to show off their hobbies. We have StarCraft2 tournament spoiler talk. We have a sports ball room for those of you who enjoy sports ball, like soccer or football or baseball or whatever. I guess that kind of does actually not allow hockey, but no one seems to be interested in hockey in the server yet. So that hasn't been a problem. I'm just realizing. But yeah, Falcon Paladin Discord, come say hey. Come say hello. We've actually gotten quite a few bot people show up recently, and you can tell it's a bot because they join and they don't say anything ever. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. For the first few, we were like, hey, welcome new person, and then nothing happened. And now we're a little more circumspect with our greetings, and if they come in and say something, then we'll respond and we'll have a grand old time. Anyway, Discord, it's the new hot thing. Come join it on the Falcon Paladin side of things, and you will have a great time. Nothing crazy happening here. Just going to be a hatch first, extractor pool. Got a 1-Rax expand out of Uthermal, and by golly, he's making yet another repair. I mean, I probably should have had the list ready to go, considering it was going to be a Reaper no matter what. So this Reaper's name is going to be Avalo. Because of his angry bouts of rage, the Terran Dominion decided his anger would be better served in the field, where he would prove that Protoss and Zerg Imba. I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. Are you third hatching already, Scarlett? By golly, you should be. Well, no, actually, Queens with this money and also speed as soon as she is Zergly able to. But yeah, here comes our Avalo the Reaper. He is here to prove that Zerg is Imba, and in fact is Zerg Imba. He will be first-hand witness to a ZVT between two incredible players. Uthermal is Dutch. Scarlett, as we mentioned previously, is Canadian. And it is going to be a cross-the-pond fight. Across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, KD8 charge thrown down. Reaper control here pretty darn great for Uthermal. No, don't die. Okay. Once again, it's just paying attention as a Zerg player to what's going on here. He doesn't want to get surrounded. That's why he keeps hopping up and down. And now when the Queen's out, that's when Avalo can't really do much of anything. Maybe a block, an attempted third. No, the drone got there first. What? Where did the drone go? Drone must have snuck around the long way. Because I think it came up from this side, didn't it? I feel like it did. Anyway, nothing too crazy. Just saw Scarlett went for the third base. Uthermal says, all right, I don't have to worry about walling off for a minute here. There's not going to be enough larva or money available for Scarlett to kill me with a Ling Flood at this stage of the game. And if there is one, I'll see it. My Reaper will see it across on this side of the map. Then I can wall off, get a bunker up, get some Marines, and be just fine. Also, scouting for the potential of a Baneling nest is something you want to scout for here because the Baneling bust is still pretty darn viable. Here in 2018, it really had its heyday back in Wings of Liberty. I believe the first time I got to Diamond, I got there pretty much solely through Baneling busting Terrans. It was really good until Terrans learned how to scout for it. Oh, Avalo, are you still alive? Avalo's control has been fantastic, you guys. Whatever you say about the guy. His Reaper control is wonderful, and he's going to survive this too. Hopping down. No big deal. But yeah, then Terrans figured out you just scout it, and then you wall off a whole bunch. And you're good to go. See these Lings coming down? See this wall? See these Hellions ready to go? Yeah, these Lings are going to do nothing. Nothing at all. Whoosh. There goes the fire and the Lings retreat. See? See what I'm talking about? Uthermal knows what's up. He knows what is up. Saw those Lings coming down. Avalo's not alive, is he? Or did he? He is alive. Where is he? He's hiding inside Scarlett's base. You are a boss. Check you out, man. You have any kills? No, but that's okay. Being alive at the 4-minute mark is enough of a big deal in and of itself. Raven on the way for Uthermal. I like the early Raven, and drone goes down. Got a kill. Avalo with the kill. Now these speedlings want blood. Go. Hop off. Dude, they're so dead. Hopped off. And you know what? There's other stuff going on. No! I thought the Hellions roasting up the drones would be a priority, but nope. Reaper Avalo goes down. This is a lot of Hellion pinned into a wall here by the Lings and the Queen DPS. Okay, so cleared it out. That could have been a lot worse for Scarlett. But in the end, 6 Hellions died for 6 drones. Well, 5 drones, actually, because the Reaper Avalo got up here in the main. Auto turret harass at the 3rd base. Bam! Drone down 2. This is how you have to play ZVT, you guys. I know it's hard. I understand it. I understand that it's extraordinarily difficult to be harassing like this consistently while still dealing with Ling attacks at your front, while macroing and taking a 3rd base at the 6-minute mark, but you gotta do it. You gotta do it, especially at the lower levels. The more you harass a Zerg, the worse they are. And at the pro level, that just means you killed some workers, and it forces them to make drones instead of units, or make more drones instead of to replace the ones that died. As this Raven harass continues, actually sitting inside the Overlord. But yeah, make more drones to replace the ones that died instead of continuing to increase in worker count. But the bonus of doing it in the lower levels is, if you're playing against a gold or a platinum or a diamond level Zerg and you harass them and drop them, their macro goes, it falls apart. Absolutely falls apart. They stop spending their money as well, they stop expanding, and you're in a much better position. So there's trade-offs, man. There are trade-offs. It's hard, but it's totally worth it. Quoted Falcon Paladin. +1/+1 on the way for Melee and Carapace for Scarlett. So we're either going, well, yep. It's going to be Baneling. So either Ling Bling Muta, maybe into an Ultralisk type thing, or maybe a rush to Ultralisks, which I'm not a huge fan of. Good Terrans know how to deal with Ultras these days. Marauders are pretty good. Liberators pretty good. Ghosts, amazing. Amazing. 3rd base landed here for Uthermal, starting a supply depot wall on both sides of this base, just so Ling attacks can't do as well. Banelings can still bust them, but those are Banelings that are exploding on supply depots rather than exploding on your men. So I think Uthermal's cool with that. And there's the Spire. So Scarlett is one of the few Zerg players that still seems to like to go for the Ling Bling Muta strategy. It's really fun to watch. I'm not complaining. It's just weird that it's kind of fallen by the wayside these days. Hellion here on the creep. I mean, totally visible stuff here. It's not a huge push. 7-minute Marine tank push with Hellions. Because there's a third base behind it for Uthermal. And here we go. Setting up the tanks on that low ground. That's a great position for a tank right there. It's very good. Anti-armor missile on the Queens. They retreat from the engagement. If they get attacked when they have anti-armor missile, they're so squishy. Ling's running around the backside, though. This engagement, does get the tank. Very nicely done. And that means Uthermal's going to get out of there. Uthermal says, time to run. Wait, where did my thing go? Come back. There you are, mini-map. I'm sorry I made you leave. It won't happen again. So pretty decent stuff. Lost the tank and recognized, okay, that my position is too tenuous right now. I absolutely cannot continue to attack there. I did cast a game. Was it a Masters or a GM level game where that happened? Tank came here and Terran got surrounded. I'm having some flashbacks of something that happened on the channel. Anyway, it is Mutalisks in production, +1 flyer attack on the way. We've got +2/+2 for those Lings and those Blings. And a 4th base coming in for Scarlett in the top right-hand corner. Ling's going to defend that area for reasons I don't understand. There's no blue over there. And Uthermal checking this side to see if there's any Lings and Banelings possibly setting up on this side of the wall, and there are not here. So both players very happy to see they are effectively left alone on their side of the map, and Uthermal promptly decides to set out and see what Zerg he can kill this day. Ling gets roasted up, but that was a scouting Ling. It was supposed to get roasted up. By golly, it was. These creep tumors are in trouble. I don't know if there's enough anything to really handle what we're seeing from Uthermal here. Yeah, creep tumors down. Ling's opening up that ramp just to make Baneling hits a little bit better. And narrow spaces are good for Terran. Wide open space is good for Zerg. So kill these rocks, Zerg. And you'll have a good time. Alright, so Marines get on the high ground. Tank sets up on the low ground again. Mutalisk, 2 Mutas get picked off as they pass the Marines. That's pretty good. That's actually really, really good for Uthermal. Ling's trying to get on around the backside. There are Marines here. There are tanks here. The Baneling can't decide where to explode. Beautiful splits, though. Oh, the target fire is brilliant. And suddenly Scarlett's in a lot of trouble. 172 to 139 supply. Marines attacking into the natural base like they own the joint, and that's it. A good game from Scarlett. It all came down to that one engagement. Let's watch that again. Let's watch that again real quick. So, we went possibly too far. But yeah, those rocks get killed. Uthermal sets up on this low ground, which is really hard for the Zerg to dislodge, especially if it's Lings and Banelings. And the Marine count is high enough, and the upgrades are +1/+1, that the Marines can't, or the Mutas can't really engage here. So the Marines come up, pull back, and he sees this, right? Uthermal sees this coming around the right side. Tank fire on those Zerglings. Marines pre-splitting a little bit here. And yeah, these Banelings get 4 or 5 Marines. These Banelings kill 2 or 3. The splits are amazing. The tanks stay alive with 9 and 7 kills each. And that was it. What did the Mutas do in that engagement, actually? I need to see that. Where are they? Do they do anything? So they fly down, and they're trying to kill these medevacs, I guess? Yeah, they keep trying to kill the tanks, but then suddenly all of their Lings and Banelings are gone, and there's only Marines remaining, and then they fly up here and try to make some more Banelings, but it's too late. Because Uthermal decides to attack up in this direction, and all of, yeah, heading right for those Banelings, and that was it. Good job. Good to buy Uthermal. Alright, so more Scarlett coming at you. She's 1-1. Beat the Protoss, lost to the Terran. Let's see how she does in game number 3 against Petite Drogo, and we'll be right back. Game number 3 of our compilation of Scarlett games. Find us on 16-bit, the latter edition. Top right-hand corner, red Zerg Scarlett. Bottom left-hand corner, blue Protoss Petite Drogo. Let's switch that up. Boop. See? Switched. Red top, blue bottom. That's usually how I like to do things. Whew. All right. If you're enjoying Falcon Paladin so far, then consider supporting me on Patreon. Patreon.com/Falcon Paladin. $1 a month. $1 a month gets you access to Let's Plays of Falcon and Somicron, playing stuff like Stardew Valley, playing stuff like Long Live the Queen, Far Cry, as well as, what else have we put out there? The the one, it's the guys by Battle Block Theater. Pit People. Pit People was a lot of fun too. So if you want to see me playing other stuff other than StarCraft, that's the way to do it, man. That is the way to do it. Ooh, we played Raft. We played Raft as well, which is actually super exciting in a lot of ways. I got ate by a shark plenty of times. Plenty of times indeed. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. Anybody being cheesy here? No, not really. Petit Drogo's even throwing the gateway up on the high ground, which actually might be an indication of cheese. Because usually Protoss will start their wall off down here and then expand. But not today. Well, are there any good one-base plays from Protoss? Oh, I forgot it. 16-bit. I am dumb. It's 16-bit. You have a safe little expansion back here that both players are making use of. You don't have to expand on the low ground forever if you don't want to. All sorts of two-base plays are available to you as Protoss and Terran, and you don't have to actually defend anything out here. It's fantastic for you, and I'm actually kind of surprised Scarlett took this one. Usually, Zergs will take this one on the low ground and start their creep spread, and then take their third back here at the safe location, but Scarlett says, I don't have the same concerns as other Zerg players do, whatever that means. Whatever that happens to mean. So, spawning pool done. Immediate queen production should begun. 1 queen should begin. 2 queen. I wish the timing was better on this build, to where the hatch was already popped by the time you wanted that second queen. But if it's good enough for Scarlett, it's good enough for me. Totes magotes, good enough for me. Overlord scouting in. Only scouting that Scarlett has gotten all day is this right now. Overlord says Cybernetics Core on the high ground. What a surprise. Quelle surprise, as Petit Drogo says to himself, muttering to himself in the booth he's playing in right now. Stargate on the way from Petit Drogo. We have another Oracle name ready. It's a pretty darn good one. Pretty good one to go. Oh, and Stalker first from Petit Drogo. Is it enough to kill the Overlord before he escapes to the high ground? The answer is no. You're going to disappear. Ow. Woo, that was close, though. One more shot, man. One more shot, and I think he was toast. Right, because you do 18 damage per shot. Jeez. Stalker good against Overlord. I didn't realize it was 18. I know it was buffed, but, man, forgotten how buffed exactly. All right, Oracle in production from Petit Drogo. Oracle's name is Windows Vista. The Protoss wanted to upgrade their Oracle AI core to the vilest, most hate-inducing, the most feared computer program to have ever existed. Oh, somebody doesn't know about Windows Me. So they hacked into humans' internet and found a few devices still running Windows Vista. They plugged it into their oracles. The one currently flying over the battlefield is the only one that did not immediately blow up. No, but for reals, I know Vista wasn't great, you guys, but Windows Me was the worst. Quite possibly the worst version of Windows ever to hit the market for the time, right? I mean, there's less powerful versions of Windows that have come out. Obviously, Windows 3.1.1, Windows 1, Windows 2 that nobody talks about, because Windows really started with 3 and 3.1.1 in particular. So, I mean, obviously there were worse versions, but me, for the time it came out, it was a bad experience. Oh, so many queens here. Sorry, Windows Vista, you're getting shot in the face by queens. Ling's up here trying to harass at the natural base, but 2 adepts, enough to defend against that. No big deal. Queen here, too. You're taking so much damage. No, Windows Vista! Windows Vista is dead. And scouted a Nidus. Did you scout the Nidus? Oh, Windows Vista saved the day. Windows Vista scouted the Nidus. All right, so where's the Nidus going to come up is the question. There are no overlords in position to throw down a Nidus. What are you doing, Scarlett? You gotta have vision. Are you just gonna Nidus right here? I mean, that's viable, I suppose, but I do like Nidusing inside the other player's base because it really shuts down their sense of security. That tell themselves, ah, yes, I'm safe behind my walls. Nothing can get in here. Then a Nidus Worm's like, that's not a great Nidus Worm sound, but you get what I'm talking about. Just queens, man. Just queens. Oh, and Swarm Host. All right, so in this case, yeah, you just Nidus over here. Yep, there we go. Nidus on the outside. Throw the Swarm Host up over this gap of nothingness with blocks in it. And then kill his natural base, and the third base is like, wait, what? And then you win. I think that's how this works. It's the idea, anyway. Nidus Swarm erupts. Petit Drogo says, where?
Our pylon is under attack.
Where is this? He says. He's looking here. He's throwing up shield batteries at his natural base. And then suddenly... oh, crap. I don't have any defense over here at all. Probes getting target fired down. They're not running far enough, so more of them are dying. Oh, that was horrible. That was not good at all. And Ling's at the front, trying to harass a little bit. So here comes the army. They know where it is now. But there are queens here, and these swarm hosts get back in the Nidus. This is a scary army. I don't know, maybe not. Two stalkers and a couple adepts, and there is an immortal, which is good against the swarm hosts because they're armored. Okay, additional stuff popping out. Locust throwing up. And they're not even trying to defend themselves. They're just hopping right on over here to kill more stuff. Is this enough to actually kill a Nexus? I know DPS on Locust is insane, but there's no way that 4 Locusts can take one down before they expire, right? Nah. They're good. They're not that good. More Locusts coming over, though. It's a never-ending stream here. Petit Drogo is just like, you know what? We're base racing this thing. Screw it. Screw it. I can't save my natural. Sayonara natural. Bonsoir natural. Another Nidus gonna pop here at the front. Frontish. Ling's getting on top of this army. There are shield batteries, and there's an Oracle. There's your Nidus erupt. Here's the army coming up. What do you do? Oh, there's Swarm Host back home now, because they went into the Nidus. Yep. Yeah, man. And just free units. Free units all the livelong day. They fly very, very slowly. Oh, don't engage, though. Just run. You can't win it. You can't win it, Petit Drogo. Absolutely not. Oracle actually using Pulsar Beam to kill this Nidus Swarm. Have you seen this before? Well, one Oracle. Enough energy on her to take down that Nidus Swarm. Another Nidus Swarm coming up here. And defending pretty immensely well here. Oh. Anything gonna die before... Oh, 1 sentry dies before the recall home happens. Problem is, it's 3 base to 2 base right now. 46 to 47 Harvesters, though. You know what? Petit Drogo can still win this. He can still hold. He's getting charged on his Zealots. These Queens are just so amazing, though. The problem is, it's 151 to 79 supply. Scarlett has a big, scary army. Are there any upgrades here? No upgrades whatsoever. She's a shoot, attack, and defense upgrades. Ling's getting right on top of this army. Sentry's getting picked off first of all. Zealots versus Locusts are so bad. So are Adepts. And let's be honest, so are Stalkers and so are Immortals. None of this stuff is good against Locusts. Not in any sense of the word. And look, I like how Scarlett has set up the cooldowns on these Swarm Hosts to come in waves. So it's not you don't have to wait for the whole cycle, right? Do you have kills? This Oracle has some kills. I think it must have been on the other side of the map, though. But yeah, it's not enough. It is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. As it's 140 to 61 supply, another group of Swarm Hosts pops out. It is just Petit Drogo's worst nightmare. When he thinks he's pushed it back, more Swarm Hosts show up. Oracle gets picked out of the sky there. Was that Windows Vista? I don't know. And that's your good game from Petit Drogo. Swarm Hosts win the day. And Scarlett goes up 2-1 on her opponents as part of the Scarlett compilation. Yeah, I mean, pretty cost efficient. 2,300 resources lost for Scarlett in exchange for 5,200. For Petit Drogo, it was 58 Lings, whatever, 1 Swarm Host, 3 Queens. That was it, man. I mean, Scarlett at the end of the game had 16 Swarm Hosts. Gross stuff. All right, coming back with another Uthermal game in just a second. Let's see what that one's like. And stick with it. All right, it's going to be Uthermal again for Scarlett. Can she overcome her first loss to Uthermal and come out victorious on 16-bit, the latter edition? I don't know. Let's wait and see. Bottom left-hand corner, pink Zerg Scarlett. Top right-hand corner, the blue Terran player Uthermal. Whew. This has been pretty darn intense so far. We've had Swarm Hosts, we've had Ling Bling Muta, we've had tank positioning, and we've had Storm. What else do you want from a Scarlett compilation? No, but seriously, what else do you want? Let me know in the comments. All right, you should check out the Gauntlet Global Open. That is every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come say hello as some of the best players on Earth come to compete. We've had Solar, we've had Kellizer, we had Braddock. Braddock came to compete in the Gauntlet Global Open last Sunday. He won the whole stupid thing. Braddock, Brood War player, way old, 31-year-old Russian player Braddock, came to the Open and won the thing. You never know who's going to show up. Scarlett's been there. Nurchio has been there. Neeb, Special have come as well. So come check it out. Twitch.tv/GauntletSC2. I'm casting that thing with just Jordan. You want to see Falcon Paladin casting live StarCraft at a high level with a co-caster? That's where you go. Is twitch.tv/Gauntlet SC2 8 p.m. Eastern every darn Sunday. And I think we got a shout out on the Pylon show too. If you ever watched that thing, maybe you've already heard of it. All right, Reaper on the way. Reaper's name is Ninja. The Dominion has been closely following Ninja and thought that his Fortnite skills would aid him well in a Reaper scoot. Reaper scoot? Reaper suit. This lie was put out to protect a well-guarded secret, which is the Dominion just wanted to get rid of him. Whoa. Harsh. Harsh from the Dominion. They are mean though. They're not really unexpected. Regardless. And a factory coming up behind this. So this is not quite the Destiny Cloud Fist build, or it's a 1-1-1. Just couldn't get a starport. Just because you... in Legacy of the Void now, it just makes more sense to get a command center mixed in there. So rest in peace. And Destiny Cloud Fist build, I can tell you that much. 4 Lings on the way, 2 Queens on the way. Scarlett has done this 100 million times. 100 times in the last week alone. Actually, how many games does a professional player play on the ladder and against teammates in a given week? What do you think it is? Somebody knows. Tell me in the comments. I'm curious. KDA charge blowing those drones back. And yeah, Ling's doing a pretty good job moving the wounded one back. This is just a dance we've seen 100 million times. Queen pops. And that's it for Ninja. Ninja has no kills whatsoever. There's a place to hop up over here into the main. And checking to see, is there a third hatchery yet? Can I possibly block the expansion? Oh, that drone I think was planning on coming down here for an expansion and then changed its mind because the Lings weren't there to escort it. Unfortunately for that drone. So that was a pretty good massive win right there, honestly. Third base comes down in here instead, which I guess, I don't know. I have seen Zerg players wait to save this safe location for a 4th or a 5th base, which is kind of strange, but it's not that crazy. It's really not all that nuts. This Queen was chasing a little bit there. Just a little bit, chasing that Reaper. This Reaper Scout, the way that Uthermal's been able to keep his Reapers alive in Games 1 and Game 2 is just emulation worthy. You should try to do this, you guys. Of course, if you have an APM of 530, you have a lot of free actions. Free time to do stuff you normally wouldn't feel comfortable doing. Marine. Have you noticed they hip fire? Their accuracy is really good considering they hip fire. They're not looking through sights. They're not looking at anything. They're just... In fairness, an Overlord is a huge target. An absolutely massive target. And it's hard to miss, I guess. Oh, don't line him up. Don't line him up. Scarlett split. Ooh, 4 drones down. Pretty darn quickly. Ling's getting roasted up here too. And this is not being held as well as it was. Where are the Lings? There's supposed to be a lot of Lings here. Yeah, they're in production. They're popping out now. But that is 10 drones down for 4 Hellions, which is a much worse trade than Scarlett got in game number 2, where she killed 6 Hellions and lost 5 drones. That is a horrifically bad unbalanced trade. 35 to 29 Harvesters. Uthermal's up in worker count, feeling pretty happy about that. Happy about himself, to be sure. Lair coming in for Scarlett. Any sign of another base coming up? I don't know. Ling's trying to pressure. They did scout the lack of a 3rd, which should indicate that Uthermal is either building inside his main, which he is, or it's a 2-base attack. Hard to tell. Hard to tell the difference. And another Raven. Uthermal once again opening up Raven here. And there's no base to harass. Maybe that's why Scarlett took this one instead. Because she knew there's a lot of dead airspace for stuff to harass back here. And it's a little bit more difficult to do it over here at this 3rd. I'm down. I'm down with that explanation for sure. Some roaches in production just so the Hellions can't do too much work from the remaining stages of the game. Really waiting for that Lair to pop to go for the higher tech, because you can't do much here with Ling Baneling alone, or even just Ling Bane Roach against the Terran. You really need this Lair tech once you get past the 5-minute mark, because it means you didn't Baneling bust and win. Hey, oh, Drop Lords. Scarlett making use of Drop Lords again, this time against the Terran player instead of the Protoss. Some Ling drop action possibly. Did the Raven come all the way over to this 3rd base? Yes, and guess who hasn't saturated it at all? Scarlett. She can't defend anything at this 3rd. So the Raven's like, I have a lot of energy here. I mean, I don't know what to do with it. I guess this natural base is a pretty decent target for auto turrets at this point. 1... And how much does that thing cost? 50? So couldn't quite make 2, but 1 is good. Wow, 4 drones dead. Holy smokes, Ling drop. Coming into this natural base, and you know what? They might do some work. There's some Marines here. We'll see what the response time is from Uthermal. As more stuff happening back here at the main. But yeah, oh yeah, there's some, I mean, the Marines There are enough Marines, and the response time was good enough. Did any SCVs die at all? No. Lings attack. The drop of Queens. Trying to do stuff. Don't lose the Overlord! Oh, Transfuse keeping the Overlord alive. That Drop Lord's amazingly alive somehow. This harassment at the third base of Uthermal is pretty scary, man. He's forced to lift off his third. He has a lot of SCVs. He doesn't know a whole lot what to do with. Unfortunately for him, don't attack up the ramp. What are you doing? Corrosive Vial dodged by Uthermal. He's a pro at that kind of a thing. Roach is trying to get shots off. There's a tank now, and the anti-armor missile hits almost everything. Queen down. Marines just cleaning this up like the professional cleaners that they are. And Scarlett taps out. Her attack's done. She's out. She cut a lot of workers to make that happen. She lost 15. It's 33 to 46. She's at 3 base to a now 3 basing Uthermal. Can't win with that attack. And he's out. Or she's out, rather. Where are the... There was something happening up here. Ah, some Zerglings got in to that mineral line. And then they all got distracted by that tank. And they're all super dead now. Ah, good aggressive attempt there from Scarlett. I do love aggression from Zerg players. I just feel like not enough of them are interested in that sort of thing. But Scarlett definitely is. Didn't pay off. Did not pay off against Uthermal. Unfortunately, drops her to 0-2 against Uthermal. Okay, so she has one more chance to redeem herself. Another game against Petite Drogo for Game 5 of this Scarlett compilation. How can she do? Can she win? Let's find out. Can we send her off on a high note, Scarlett fans? Let's do it. Clap your hands together for Scarlett. We'll be back in a couple seconds. All right, Game 5 of the Scarlett compilation starts now. It's going to be Darkness Sanctuary, Scarlett in the top right, Petite Drogo in the bottom right, red versus blue here. I'm not sure where the pink went, actually. Maybe further group stages don't allow you to choose anything other than red and blue. Come to think of it, how do the players decide who's red and blue? I guess the first one in the lobby gets to choose. Huh. Anyway, Darkness Sanctuary, home to very, very weird games. Just because it's so big, just because there are backdoor paths. Oh, that's not a backdoor path. Just looked like one. Like this one. Like this backdoor path. Boop, 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 boop. Right into a base there. You have to wall this off, and wall this off, and wall this huge thing up. Oh, expansions are so hard to defend. So hard to defend here for Petite Drogo. Scarlett doesn't care. Scarlett's like, whatevs. I don't wall stuff off anyway. I am Zerg. Hear me roar. Hatch first tier gateway expand from Petite Drogo. And if you heard of the Falcon Paladin Hour, it is a weekly podcast hosted by myself and Summacron, my Australian buddy. We've had special guests. We've talked about movies like Infinity War. We talked about the most recent Mission Impossible movie too. So if you're interested in hearing us talk about current events in StarCraft and other gaming situations, movies, TV shows, books, as well as, again, interviewing special guests, we have one coming on the next one. Not going to tell you who it is, but you may or may not have heard of them. Then just search for Falcon Paladin on your podcast app or Falcon Paladin Hour on the internet, and you will find it. It's every week, you guys, and it's free. It's really free. So Falcon Paladin Hour for you and for me and for the entire human race. That should actually be the slogan. Anyway, nobody has found Bupkis yet. It's absolutely been Bupkis. This Overlord Scout by Scarlett is the luckiest thing of all time. You scouted the right direction on a 4-player map that's this big. Ta-dee! There it is. Petite Drogo's not switching up the strategy here, though. Petite Drogo's like, I'm going to go 1 gate expand. There's my double gas. There's my pylon. Here's my cybernetics core. No big deal. New biggie. Meanwhile, Probe does find Zergland. Sees nothing to worry about here either. Nobody's cheesing because the cheese on Darkness Sanctuary is really risky. It's exceptionally risky. And I am not a fan of cheesing on 4-player maps that are huge. Although, in fairness, this map's really big and kind of hard to defend if you're Petite Drogo. We'll see if that's a problem for him later or not. He is opening Stargate just because for a lot of people, oh, that probe was almost able to block that. But there were Lings here, so the third base goes down by Scarlett anyway. A lot of people feel like Stargate's the only viable opener against Zerg. Haz would have something to say about that if you asked him. But for a lot of people, if you want to play a macro-style game, you got to get that Stargate. Otherwise, you just die to early stuff. You just die to early Roach. You die to early Lings. You just don't have enough, no photon overcharge available to shut that stuff down. And I don't necessarily think I disagree with them. I mean, Adept openings here, Twilight Council openings, where you go for Adepts with Resonating Glaives, pretty good. Putting the pressure on the Zerg is a good way to make sure you can do stuff back home and remain safe. Anyways, Anyways, 31 to 28 total harvesters here. Petit Drogo has a tiny bit of a lead on the worker count, which he has to feel good about. And it is going to be a Phoenix opening, followed by an Oracle. Oracle's name is first-year Spanish student. El estudiante robado por extraterrestre de en biblioteca. There's library, there's a student, there's an extraterrestrial, a first-year student for aliens in the library, something like that. Somebody translate my horrible Spanish for me. And it might have been something entirely dirty. I don't know. Sometimes I read foreign languages on the channel, and it's a family-friendly channel, and those words could not be family-friendly. I apologize if that is the case. Phoenix hitting that Overlord. Here come the Lings, but absolutely not. There are 2 Adepts holding this line, and the Lings can be moderately annoying, but not actually all that much. Minorly annoying, I think, is all they can be. Phoenix Oracle heading up into the main base. There's a Spore Crawler and a Queen here, and another Queen possibly ready to go. Yeah, that one. That one's the Queen that's ready to go. So you lifted, but guess what? Now you're busy lifting, and there's a Queen and a Spore Crawler here. Oh, canceling the Stasis Ward because the second Queen showed up. This is defended as well as you can defend it by Scarlett. Nothing died. Nothing died to that. Holy smokes. Extra Queens, man. They will pay for themselves in these situations. I tell you what. Tell you what, boy. Phoenix trying to kill some stuff. Nah, Spore Crawler and a Queen. Phoenix is like, what is this? What is this black magic that there are queens everywhere? Yeah, it's rough. Very rough. Robotics facility on the way. We do have a Templar Archives coming in by our Protoss player. And quite a few gateways here, too. The answer is going to be Hydralisks for Scarlett, though, which I'm down with. Unless it's a huge charge lot attack, but that's what the Banelings are for. So Baneling Nest 2. Yeah, Scarlett seemed prepared for this. It's going to be an Archon drop, which we've seen before here. Didn't execute exceptionally well. Ah, the Lings even scout this sucker. And there's Hydras already on the way. No, Petit Drogo, this is the wrong strategy. There's already Hydras on the way. Hydras are the answer to this. They can hit the Warp Prism as it's flying away. They can hit the Archons from range. Queens are here already. Ugh. Alright, so the Queen, one of them getting lifted up. Spore Crawler getting burrowed in a position to where the Warp Prism can't come pick these things up. And yeah, you gotta get out, man. Ooh, Phoenix picked off. Did a Queen die? No. Still nothing has been killed. Holy smokes. Scarlett's defending this like a pro. I mean, she is a pro, obviously, but geez. Third Nexus done warping in for Petit Drogo. Again, at this really weird place to defend. We'll see if that comes into play at all. A lot of Lings running down. A lot of Hydras here, too. Got Muscular Augments on the way. For the Scarlet, it's going to be Ling Bling Hydra instead of Ling Bling Muta, which isn't as good against Protoss as it turns out. Alright, Hydralisks ready to go. Banelings ready to go. Archons ready to go. Storm not ready to go. Oh, he wants Storm to finish. And there it is. It's done. These guys, yep, they have enough for Storm. Hydra's taking it. Banelings trying to get on top of the High Templar more than anything else. Run. Oh, picking him up in time, saving him quite nicely, but too much Hydra. Everybody else is dead there. The little micro keeping the High Templars alive mean that everything else is dead there too. Many Hydras at your front. Lings getting through. Your Archons trying to meld together, trying to merge together. No! Picked off. Hydras destroying everything. Robotics facility not allowed to make an immortal. Nope. Cybernetics core down. Banelings getting made right at the front. That's how you know you're in trouble, when there's Banelings getting made right at the front. And that's a good game. Well played from Petit Drogo. And we have a winner from Scarlett here in the third game against Petit Drogo. That explosion animation is always so great. There's like shield stuff in here and light coming out of all directions. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, so Scarlett's your winner. Wins 3 games out of the 5. All 3 against Petit Drogo. Drops the 2 against Uthermal. Which just means maybe her ZVT is struggling a bit right now, and definitely probably is. 4,200 resources lost for Petit Drogo, and 1,800 for Scarlett. And defending that Archon drop stuff was huge. Defending the little Phoenix Oracle stuff early was huge. Getting the 3rd down when she wanted to was huge. And it all just kind of snowballed to this stage of the game, where suddenly you have a million Hydras at your front. They are killing all of your stuffs, and Banelings are morphing right on your front door. And maybe these Zealots would have been able to do something to slow this down, but this is 9 Banelings morphing in, and almost there too. So can't really blame them for tapping out. All right, that is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void Sunday Series. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.